Truly great RTS games is a rarity these days, but that makes it even more exciting when new and unique titles make an appearance. This is Arcane Wilds, an early access RTS game which seeks to completely change up the formula with 3 particularly unique gameplay features rarely or never seen before in the RTS space. And it all takes place in a fantasy world inspired by history. And I especially love that we're dealing with an age of gunpowder here. And by the way, while I have you here, only 8% of people watching this video are actually subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy my content guys, it would just mean so much to me if you took time to make a simple click and sub to the channel. It goes a long way in helping my content reach further, and hopefully also help you in knowing when there's new content to be enjoyed. I'd really appreciate it. First of all, I want to make one thing clear. This is a title in very early stages, with the version shown here titled 0.46. In other words, absolutely everything is subject to change and improvement, and from talking to the devs myself, they're both willing to listen to and implement feedback, and are keenly aware that the game has a long time to go before their vision is fully realized, even though they continuously release patches. That's also why this is perhaps the only game I've seen in Steam Early Access that actually tries to be honest with its timetable prediction. This is not a game ready 1 year down the road, but actually 2 to 4 years down the road, which is a refreshing thing to see honestly, and really tells you that the devs are passionate and in this for the long haul. Further, even though this is early access, the devs aren't even asking for your money to test an unfinished game like so many others do. Instead, and if this video does pique your interest, you can head over to their website and apply to join the closed beta for free, and contribute to making the game even better. If I had to describe the setting of Arcane Wilds, it would be a fantasy setting where 19th century American and First Nation inspired armies try to survive in hostile lands filled with corruption and the monsters afflicted by it, while also being at odds with each other. It is a unique setting, but the lore isn't as important as how the various factions affect gameplay, and how Arcane Wilds tries to bring innovation to the RTS formula. For now, only the army is available to play in the campaign, but both the tribe and the colony faction are playable in custom battles, offline or in multiplayer. But let's get back to the faction details later, and let's talk about what makes Arcane Wilds really tick. Arcane Wilds is a competitive RTS game, meaning it focuses both on single player and multiplayer, and I believe its core mechanics give the game a potential to excel at both. You see, the key concept in this game is the idea behind logistics. Whereas in other games where every resource gathered ends up in a global pool, the resources in Arcane Wilds are localized and must even be transported from point A to B if they're not immediately done so by, for example, wood choppers. The wood is transported to your harbor and can then be used from that harbor and that harbor alone, in case you own more than one harbor. Wood is the base resource here and will pay for things like buildings and new troops. Troops aren't just purchased with resources, their corresponding buildings actually have to produce their gear before they can be bought. And furthermore, troops are not something you recruit just willy-nilly. What's interesting here is that since this is a colonial-inspired game taking place in a world of islands, all factions are able to receive 1 new batch of units per minute. This means that if you have the resources and the manpower, there's no need to rush and spam units. Instead, you can spend an entire minute queuing up units which will arrive on schedule every time, which does make the game more predictable and unpredictable at the same time, since you never know which or how many units your enemies have queued up as well. The other main resource in this game is the interplay between essence and corruption. You see, this land is untamed and mysterious. Its forests hide more than just trees, and this is where the fun begins. Upgrading buildings demand wood, but if you wish to actually improve your units through research, you need corruption, and you need to build on corrupted ground. Corruption is gained passively over time as a byproduct of having workers mine essence ore. But the main reason to mine essence ore is of course to extract essence, a mystical resource which gives you powerful bonuses. Just like wood, essence is a tangible object in the game, and a very important one since essence does 2 things. It can increase your fame level by being transported to a friendly harbor, which raises your manpower limit, or it can be picked up and utilized by units in battle. This means that a unit like a cannon will be able to use special powerful shots if essence is fed to it. In the same way, essence allows healers to use magic powers. But because resources are tangible and movable objects in Arcane Wilds, it can also be stolen from you. Resources are therefore not only useful to gather then, but also to protect, as someone stealing your essence from the ground and suddenly being able to use powerful abilities can turn the tide of battle against you. It really helps to make the RTS formula a lot more unpredictable and makes for some sick moments where the enemy can really mess things up for you if you're not careful. In this example, the tribe is taking advantage of me killing the monster before they move in and steal the relic. And here, true to the gunslinging rascal colony name, I take the army by surprise, taking down a full regiment of units with 2 extremely efficient Gatling guns, fully charged with essence. And then I chase down the guy with the relic. But this really is the power of essence and good old down and dirty tactics, and it both looks so charming and feels great when pulled off correctly. Here's the thing, the closest thing I can compare Arcane Wilds to would be a charming mix of Age of Empires 3 with improved RuneScape visuals, and I mean that in the best sense of the word. So why Age 3? Well, for one, the time period is similar-ish in that gunpowder is a big deal, but even more so is the campaign itself. What's fascinating here is that the entire campaign is based around a sense of building a home base, kinda like in Age 3, but where you're actually building it yourself, the island your people settle on in the beginning. This is your hub, where you get to build your home and use the various buildings to be able to purchase new units in battles and give them upgrades that last. In essence then, despite taking place over a course of missions which are accessed through the hub, Arcane Wilds' campaign is in this way interconnected, and winning one mission actually affects the next one, giving important context to each battle and makes the campaign feel more intertwined with itself. This especially is something I really appreciate, but what's really cool is how focused on multiplayer Arcane Wilds really is. You see, every mission you embark on can actually be played in multiplayer, and what's more, friends or enemies can drop into the match at any point if you choose to allow it, meaning it's a very dynamic and easygoing system. As mentioned before, Arcane Wilds offers 3 factions. If you're new to the game, it has a very convenient system of optional tutorials and challenges for you to complete, and actually eases you into playing as every faction. These are unique after all, so where the army is more focused on heavy firepower in its snipers and cannons, the colony prefers the more explosive kind, using pistols, dynamite, and my favorite, the Gatling gun, to deal with hostiles. Lastly, we have the tribe, which are fearsome in close combat and moves faster than the others. Each faction also has a different way of actually expanding their buildings. The army uses corruption to research new foundational tech levels, the colony uses wood to upgrade buildings one by one, and the tribe can raise TPs without any resources, but temporarily spend a transport unit to do so. This makes for fun and different playstyles, and I'm sure the variety will be expanded further as time goes by. Arcane Wilds is a charming, unique, and most of all promising RTS title that I can't wait to see more of. Every single one of these new mechanics brings something new to the genre, and with more polish, streamlining, and even more content, I'm sure this will shape up to be an RTS to look out for. If Arcane Wilds interests you, make sure to wishlist the game on Steam, and even sign up for the closed beta. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and sub to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much to Avancadia for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!